And yes, I'm here, just under the wire too. I believe it's 7:01 thrash time, which means it's early or later, depending on what part of the country you're in. Although, really, I think we're about as early as you can get. Nova Scotia is earlier, but that's a separate country at the moment. Lance is here and he says, "Hey, Thrash. Hey, you too, Lance, my good man. How's your 26 going so far?" And I'm just gonna. Is the sound okay? I can't seem to hear in my headphones, which probably says more about my hearing. But in any event, welcome to 2026. Welcome to my first show of the new year. So good to see you folks all. Sounds good. Sounds good. Good to hear it. Um, my friend. And anywho, so far it looks like it's just you and me thus far. But of course, it's only 7:02. I will give updates minute by minute. Oh, and now you're gone. Now I have no watchers. Was it something I said? Well, anyway, I'll just ramble on to myself until somebody shows up. See, I'm always afraid that people in the replay will get bored out of their mind if I just go here. I'm gonna wait for somebody to show up. No, don't wait for somebody to show up. They're not missing anything. And again, after make the show interesting from the beginning, we'll just bail. Oh no, Lance is here. Oh, and you brought a friend. Indy Spouts. Oh, good to see you, my brother. I don't know how you do it, Bob, but you barely look a year older because I'm not. I'm aging backwards. So, thank you. Zerflex is here. He says hello and an hola to you too, my brother. Oh, did you see on Facebook? Emily posted it. It was a riot. Said, since Captain America's uniform only has one star, shouldn't he be Captain Puerto Rico? Which still makes it American, but I think it's just a little more poignant. Gambit is here. Gambit says, I missed last week. No worries. I thought I saw you in the replay. I saw you in the comments. No worries. Today's show will be gooder. And let's just see. Oh, Indy, I don't know. Did you catch? I was at Atomic Snack Bar, our buddy Atomic Snack Bar's sci-fi noir post the other day. Great stuff. But if you guys haven't subscribed to Atomic Snack Bar, you got to. He is just outstanding. Put out some great work. But I saw your comment, and I wanted you were talking about Albert Finney. Did you ever see The Duelists? It's based on the Joseph Conrad novella about the two Napoleonic officers who duel throughout the conflict, and the Napoleonic Wars kind of become a backdrop. It's a great movie. Amazing cast, co-starring Harvey Keitel and Keith Carradine. Great stuff. Great stuff. A lot of people having fellowship. Oh, Brian is here from Music, Movies, and More. Brian, how you doing, my brother? Good to see you. While we're at it, guys, subscribe to Music, Movies, and More, please, if you have not already. Let's do the honors and drop a link in the comments below, please. There was something else I've been dying to mention, and I can't remember what it was, or is, or shall be. If I think of it all, hi, Mrs. Thrash. Mrs. Thrash is finishing dessert. Mrs. Thrash, as I can't really say it was a Christmas present to herself because we got it in like November, but she got this air fryer, right? Because the microwave sucks, and ours is in the last legs anyway, and it's built into the cabinet. It would be a pain in the ass to replace. So she got us an air fryer, and I'm becoming a virtuoso of cooking in an air fryer. It's like my new toy. And we made air fry chicken and potatoes tonight. And so good to see. Anyway, Zuplik says good joke. Yes, the Captain Puerto Rico accent. That would be Capitan Americano. Capitan Americano. Capitan Puerto Rico. This is where we came in. I'll get there eventually. Everyone's saying hello to Mrs. Suresh. Hi, Mrs. Suresh. She's like, jazz hands. And Brand says, I changed my name of the channel to Rich Down, Niche Down, Nick Down, Get Down. Anyway, but anyway, Do check him out at leisure. Gary Carpenter is here, and he says, "Hi there, everyone. I'm back." Yes, and very sad story. They found the remains of Mr. Sands, by the way. Very famous character actor, was in the Killing Fields, did some great stuff. Emily pointed out he was in Rose Red. Very, very sad. And Lance says, I can't do links for some reason. Oh, no, no worries, no worries. I'll wait. I'm sure someone else will pop on in. Let me choose these glasses. I think these are my wife's. They're not doing really well. Let me try these. That's a little better. And he says, "Of course, I've seen The Duelist, Bob. I've seen every Ridley Scott film. Isn't he amazing? Isn't Ridley Scott like just awesome sauce?" But yeah, The Duelist is one of my favorite films because, as you know, I'm a history buff, and so like the Napoleonic Wars is sort of interesting to me too. I love the scene where they're about to duel and the Cossacks show up out of nowhere. And it's funny because the one Cossack is just like watching them. And he's like, "Don't let me stop you. You want to kill yourselves? Go ahead." Emily's here, says, "Hey, y'all," and hey to you too, Miss M. And a lot of people saying hello to one another and to Mrs. Thrash, who's currently left the building. And Gambit says, "Break down, shake down, Bob Seger. Break down, shake down." Wasn't oh Randy Quaid in that video. I love that video. That it was so fun. I remember when that video came out. It actually looked like it was taken from a movie, and a lot of people thought it was from a soundtrack, even though it wasn't. But I do remember that song. Although we were just talking about Mr. Seeger, and my favorite song of Mr. Seeger's is, of course, Night Moves. Close second, Fire Lake. Mrs. Thrash loves Catmandu. And Brian says, "LOL." Yeah, I hope I got the right name in there somewhere. Look at the glass of mint. We're making it tough. And Emily says, "How about them Panthers?" You mean the Pink Panthers? Wow. And la la la. Lynn says, Beverly Hills Cop 2. Was that song in Beverly Hills Cop 2? So it was in a soundtrack. Then what was the Bob Seger song I'm thinking of? The one that wasn't from a soundtrack. I know he did do soundtracks, but there was this one famous music video he did, again, Randy Quaid, but it was a standalone. It wasn't on a soundtrack. I'm sure Superplex or Indie or one of you music buffs is going to know this. And Gambit says, "Yes, Lance." So it was in Beverly Hills Cop 2. I I have virtually no recollection of Beverly Hills Cop 2. I saw it, and yep, Mrs. Thrash is thinking, "Shakedown" in the background. Smart ass. I saw it years ago. All I remember is Robert Ridgely is in it. He plays a police commissioner or something. But I don't recall the soundtrack as much. I do remember the soundtrack to the first one. I love the soundtrack to the first one. And they win again. It's still gonna be the Pats this year. Mark my words. Everyone else does. And Gambit says, although I didn't like the Russian woman shouting the countdown time every 5 seconds. And Emily says, Gary, with the Falcons win, Carolina made it to the playoffs. Go Panthers. My brother's a Panthers fan. I had a Panthers jacket in deference to him, and I had to stop wearing it because every time I wore it up here, someone tried to pick a fight with me. Pats fans are the worst. And Gary says RNG has changed her image. I saw that. I saw today when she did I saw that she had done the Rocky Horror Rock Watch Along, and I noticed her image was different. Excellent. Lynn says Bob Seger strut my fave. There's no bad answer with Bob Seger. Gary said it's about time. I know, right? I know. And Lynn says to Gary, what did RNG change it to? Oh, it's her. It's just a little more stylish. It's actually really slick. She looks like a pop singer from the 80s now. And Freddie loves movies. Freddie loves movies. Oh my God, Freddie loves movies. Welcome to the live chat. Freddie loves movies. You will love, he says, hello, Thrash. We, as I'm sure you know by this point, love movies as well. I especially, huge fan, vintage movies, horror sci-fi pie. As of the love of for the love of pie. Horror sci-fi, a specialty. Also, anything history related, particularly classic old war films, but other genres as well. You can't find a genre, genre. You can't find a genre that I don't like at least some movies from. That includes that includes rom coms. She's like rom coms. You like rom coms? I do too. Some of them, just not the ones she likes. But welcome to the party. Gary says she doesn't wear her astronaut stuff anymore. Oh, I'll buy that. I'll buy that. And Freddie says, I subscribe to your channel. I discovered you through the Entertainment Headquarters. I believe we've chatted on one or two of his posts. I believe. Yes, huge friend of Kevin's at the Entertainment Headquarters. Great stuff. If he pops up, maybe we'll do a link for him too. John Doe is here, says, welcome to the show that never ends. That never ends. I'm glad you said it twice. Oh, and by the way, Joe, special surprise for you. I do have trivia tonight, guys, and you'll never guess what the topic is. Special request from our buddy John Doe. It's going to be Tom Poston. And I have a new shtick. I might even do a few posts on this matter if I can ever get my heart started and make content channel again. But I'll describe more of that in a little bit. But yeah, and it's not just Tom Poston, it's his works, by the way. So if you're not a historian of Tom Poston, don't worry, you should still be able to get more than half the questions. And Gambit says, check out the 1972 album Mongrel by Bob Seger, System, his early band. That sounds wicked familiar. I can't name one cut off it, but it sounds wicked familiar. And Lynn says, where's Tracy at? Excellent question. Where's Tracy? Where's Cindy? Where's Lisa Fields? Where is everybody? And Emily says somebody needs to add his link. Well, the best way to add links is if people actually show up. Because then you can just drop a link to the person. And Tab is here, and Tab says, happy 2026. No more awful celebrity scandals, just real fun. Love the optimism. Love the optimism, Deb. Welcome to the show. And I don't know if you missed it, Tom Poston trivia, and I'll explain more why in a little bit. And he says, Sci Pie, everybody remembers their first sliced. Well, there's no such thing as a good war or a bad peace. I almost I was going to do something on Life of Pi, like I intended to say Sci Pi, but I didn't. So I'm just going to stick with sci-fi. Although I actually once got into an argument with another science fiction head who said he doesn't like the term sci-fi. He says it's basically condescending and was created by Forrest Ackerman, who had something of a checkered past. Apparently, I hadn't heard this, but he always said say science fiction. I'm like, no, I'm going to say sci-fi, at least on my channel. On his, I won't. On his, I'll say science fiction. But Freddie says, I saw you on Entertainment Headquarters Back to the Future stream, so I had to subscribe. Thank you so much. I love doing that show. I really did. Oh, those guys so know their stuff, although I still think my favorite one is when we were doing, we were talking about Godzilla and Kaiju and the origins, and we talked about the giant behemoth. But anyway, I'm whichever one you did. I've never done a bad show with Kevin at the Entertainment Headquarters. I wish I could do more. But our schedules don't quite sync up. Emily says, I like certain rom coms like My Bloody Valentine. I love My Bloody Valentine, to be honest with you. It was one of the first slasher films I saw when I was a kid. Lynn says, good one, Emily. It'll take your heart out. But Gary says Tom Poston was George on Newhart. Careful. Don't give the game away. The trivia is going to be on him. Now, that's a little too obvious to be a thrash trivia question. But you are correct there. Lynn says, did Tug have a show today? He did. And it was on shows that we all saw last year. I saw one new movie last year. I saw probably, I don't know, 100 movies last year, but I only saw one new current movie last year. It was Weapons, and I liked it, but I couldn't spend an entire show talking about it. So I had to bow this one out. Gavin says, I won't give away the question, Thrash, but I'm sure one or two questions will be about Bob Newhart Coaster Connections. You are too correct. Speak of the devil, Bubba, Tracy. Tracy's here. Tracy's so glad you could make it, my dear. Hello from me and Mrs. Thrash. Indy says, by the way, I answered your question about Seeger video above, but you missed it. Now you'll never know. That happened before. If you remember the first slice. Ah, you're thinking of the video of the Seeger video for American Storm. Did I jump ahead and miss that? I'm so sorry because Emily says first time since 2015, Gary. Yeah, I'm sorry you guys must have jumped. If I missed anyone else's comments, I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm going to scroll back down before I get too far. But and thank you, Indy, for answering the question. And like I said, sometimes I just miss your rebuttals. I am going to skip all the people having fellowship. And Gary says, I like slasher movies. Oh, me too. Me too. I think 13, 14 when they really sort of hit their peak. So I kind of became obsessed with them when I was a kid. John Doe says, speaking of trivia, just thought, how does name the movie from a quote, for example? Can you name the movie where the line is, can you describe this ruckus, sir? No, I don't know that one. um, I want to say Return of the Living Dead with the general on the phone, but I'm not 100%, but that could be fun too. In fact, I think I did something like that once before. Lance says Emily in the 1981 is better than the remake. They always are. Tracy says I was on Tug's show today. Oh, awesome sauce. Emily says no, it isn't. It doesn't have Jensen. Yes, you can't have anything without Jensen. Teb says, guess this failed Mary Tyler Moore show spinoff starring Cloris Leachman by its spelling backwards, Phyllis. And it lasted a while. It didn't last long, but yeah, Phyllis, who I love Cloris Leachman. You guys know I think she's absolutely amazing. I thought she was a better character than Rhoda, but what do I know? And a lot of people got Phyllis, Phyllis, Phyllis. It had to be you. Lynn says, okay, Emily, I do have the remake on DVD. Gambit says last week, movie you were thinking of was Stealing Home. Great movie. Yes, yes, thank you. I actually found the trailer for it on YouTube, and the scene I was thinking of, and oh my god, I had forgotten this. It was Harold Ramis. Harold Ramis, who plays his adult friend. Harold Ramis and the guy, he was on Saint Elsewhere. He looks like my dad when my dad was younger. But it's the two of them singing Poison Ivy because that was like their song when they were kids. But like I say, I hadn't seen this movie in forever, and I saw it at uh it was in a college party and it was on and we were doing things we shouldn't have been doing. So I barely remember it, but I love that scene for some reason because I was a huge Ghostbusters fan. Although, from what I understand, the version on the soundtrack was from the Nylons. Yeah, that's the thing about those old classic 50s pop hits. They oftentimes were done by other bands. Like for example, Cameo had Mr. Rydell doing Cha Cha Cha. It was also done by the Orlons, and they were both Cameo groups. But they decided if they could have more than one group do it, they could sell more 45s. There's a brim full of Asher on the 45. But yeah, yes, Gambit. It was Stealing Home. I'm gonna check it out. I haven't had a chance to see it. But speaking, would that count as a rom com or more of a buddy flick? Gary Cameron says, I meant I don't like slasher movies. Oh, you don't like? Oh, I'm sorry. Free country for the moment. Indy says, mess with the bulls on the movie trivia, Bob, and you get the horns. Breakfast Club. John Doe says, can you describe this ruckus, sir? Oh, can you describe this ruckus, sir? So Indy was giving me a hint. Okay, yes. Okay, now I got it. Full disclosure, Breakfast Club. Not one of my favorite coming of age films. It had its moments, whether on its charm, but I don't think I've seen it all the way through since I was in high school. Oh, and here's one for you. I can't stand the song "Don't You Forget About Me." It triggers me. Emily says, "Yeah, I liked Phyllis over Rhoda too." Oh, hey, thank you. And Freddie says, "Thrash, so you have a favorite movie? What is?" Ooh, that's a hard nut to crack. There's quality, there's personal favorite, there's ones. Well, I'll answer you. I think the best film ever made. If you want to do first, if we're going to do like quality. If I was to have a top 10 list of the best films ever made, the number one on that would be Doctor Zhivago. Doctor Zhivago, I think, is almost a flawless movie. I also love Casablanca. I also love uh, Citizen Kane. Um, Huge fan of spaghetti westerns. Huge fans, and not just the Man with No Name saga. I like movies that weren't even done by Leone, but the Man with No Name trilogy, Fistful of Dollars, Fuel is More, and The Good, Bad, the Ugly. Absolutely love it. But since sci-fi horror is probably my favorite, promise you won't laugh. Probably the movie I've seen most in my life is the original Night of the Living Dead. That just struck a chord with me. I've always loved Night of the Living Dead. In fact, I have a couple of posts referring to that here. At Mark Harmon, thank you, Lance. Mark Harmon. And but if I was my favorite movie of all time, like the movie, like I'm like, if I want to just sit down and pop in a movie and have a good time, Excalibur keeps popping into my head. I absolutely love John Borman's Excalibur. That's just such an amazing movie. I just love Excalibur on so many levels. So I think I was all over the place there. So tell you what, whichever one of those you think is the best movie, make that one my favorite, and then that. But I've whittled it down for you to a core of films. And Gary says I haven't seen Poison Ivy in years. And John Doe says Zots, and a Zots to you too. And Emily says R.I.P. MTV. And Gambit says, "No Poison Ivy, Gary. Naughty, naughty." And Gary says, "Yeah, Phyllis and Rhoda were great." And Len says, "Yes, Emily, MTV is gone. That's too bad. The real world ended it." And John Doe says, "I like kaiju movies." Okay. Yeah, I certainly do. My little buddy Godzilla here. Godzilla, one of my favorite movies as a kid. And as far as my favorite Godzilla movie goes, I'm a huge fan of the original, but my favorite Godzilla film, since you brought it up, you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say Godzilla versus Hedorah. I'm gonna say Godzilla versus Hedorah. Although I love Godzilla versus Megalon. The guy who plays the Bakagaijin in that lived like one town over from me when he had retired. He's passed on now, but yeah, a little claim to fame. Only 257 is here. 257, how you doing, my brother? Good to see you. Indy says, please don't get Bob started about the soundtrack. Too late. And it's a pity too, because I love me a good soundtrack. And Gary says, Gambit, the only Poison Ivy I want is Batman and Robin. Uma Thurman was an amazing Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy. Here we go again. Gambit says, I fell asleep during the Breakfast Club. uh, and oh, although my wife had a crush on the bad boy when she was younger. Because she did. And let's just see what's going on. I'm behind, but I'm going to catch up if it kills me. I fell asleep during the Breakfast Club. Here we are. Emily says, I don't like you forget about me. Don't. Oh, I'll come in again. The words were all there, just in the right order. I like don't you forget about me. Free country. Free country. I didn't say it was a bad song. I just said I can't stand it. John Doe says John Hughes had a hand in making the 80s awesome. He certainly did. He certainly did. Gary says, I'm a huge fan of Ray Harryhausen. Oh, are you kidding? I adored Ray Harryhausen. I was devastated when he died. I loved Clash of the Titans. Not to mention all the other. I even own a copy of the first Men on the Moon. I love First Men on the Moon, and I loved. I wish they had actually sprung for his vision of it. I think it would have been absolutely outstanding. And he says, Lance, it just wasn't the same when they brought reality TV to the screen. No, it wasn't. It really wasn't. And Teb just jumped off the page here. He says, MTV did not shut down here in the US. Its international music channels were. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Yeah, because my wife was watching The Big Bang Theory on it yesterday. I thought it may have been a new thing. But either way, 257 says Disney had a great sense to combine two beloved cartoon shorts and release them under the title of The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, with one silly, one scary, and both with fun. I don't think I've seen that one. I should. I love the book when I was a kid. A teacher of mine used to read those stories, and then later on, someone else had a copy, and I was very nostalgic about it. And then he says, Buzz, close Bob. The best movie is Doctor Strangelove. What prizes do we have for Bob for playing? The honor of having bested me. And you know what? I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Doctor Strangelove by Stanley Kubrick is an absolutely outstanding film. And everyone in that movie is at their best. Peter Sellers playing three roles. He almost played four. They actually wanted him to play Commander Kong. He just couldn't do it. He almost had like a nervous breakdown. And I'm so glad that not that he did, but I'm glad they gave Major Kong's part to Slim Pickens. I thought he was outstanding. Of course, you have James Earl Jones, who's great at it. You have oh, what's the guy's name? He was in all the Twilight Zones. Uh, you preverts. Um, oh, his father was a famous actor from like the 40s, and I can't think of his name. Anyway, someone will correct me, I'm sure. Sterling Hayden is great in it. George C. Scott is outstanding. So everyone is just great in that movie. Doctor Strangelove is an absolute outstanding movie. Possibly the greatest farce of all time, dark comedy spoof. Emily says, "I think it's a great song, Lance." Oh my God, Danny's here. Danny from South Carolina. Danny, so good to see you, my brother. And Triple says, "Hello, Danny." And 57 says, "The best Disney movie, Snow White from 1937." Snow White was good. A lot of people saying hi to Danny. He says, "Good news day to all." And Gary says, "Song of the South is racist." It certainly is. And I'm just going to skim. Emily says, "Only I still really like that movie." And 57 says, "Hi, Pawns. Have you seen Song of the South? Movie contains its." My dad took me to see it when I was like 5, and I remember at the time finding it uncomfortable to watch then. It's actually one of my earliest film memories. And Denny says, "Missed you today, Ponzi. Wicked, wicked sorry. I just haven't seen enough films. I saw Weapons. That's pretty much the only film I've seen this year. I'm a purist. I watch old movies. You know what I mean? Vintage, vintage, vintage." And Lance says, "Happy New Year's, gang." And Gary says, "Nothing." He jumped off the page. And wow, I'm way behind. Ooh. Oh, here he is. Only I have only seen it once. I had a bootleg tape that burned in a fire. Oh, bummer. But I would love to see it again. Gibbon says, "I have Song of the South DVD. It has questionable moments, but I wouldn't say it was deliberately racist." It depends on the time or the point of view. But again, I just remember being uncomfortable when I saw it when I was a kid. And Gary says, "Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, is great, but I love Destroy All Monsters." I saw Ghidorah on the big screen finally. It was being shown by a local theater not too long ago. And John Doe says, I'm stuck between Shin Godzilla or Godzilla minus one, but the top is Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. I love that movie. I do. I love that movie. The girl in it is hot. Lynn says Godzilla -1 is awesome. It certainly is. And he says, as a bumbling young wise ass, Ambrose Bierce's Devil's Dictionary was my North Star. I was waiting. I was waiting for someone to say something about Godzilla's cue card here. Thank you. Thank you for playing. That's two gifts I owe you for. And Gary says, I don't care about Shin Godzilla. It's not to my taste. Like Free Country. And Tracy says, I grew up not far from where they shot that movie. I was in high school called Maine South. I'm guessing that's in Chicago. Chicago. And Emily says, I hate monster movies. They're so cheesy. Uh, ouch. And Maine South. There we go. And Gary says to Lance, I've seen most of it. And he says to M, it's my choice to watch them. And Glenn says it's Godzilla with a heart. Oh. And Emily says, it's my choice not to. Free Country again. And Gary says, I haven't seen Godzilla X Kong yet, nor I. Again, purist. And 57 says, Pawns, that Disney movie is on the Disney Plus. No kidding. I believe it. I believe it. And yeah, Oh, and John Doe says, did Ray Harryhausen and Bradbury was what a passion for the film is? I'm guessing you're referring to Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which of course was the impetus for uh, Godzilla and is based on the Ray Bradbury short story, The Foghorn. I'm guessing. And Lance like Terror of Mechagodzilla entry says John Hughes filmed a lot of movies around where I used to live back home in Chicago suburbs. Wasn't John Hughes from Chicago? And Zublik says Sterling Hayden. Oh yes, no, Sterling Hayden was the commander of the base, but the guy who plays the officer who takes the base, the one who's holding um, Peter Sellers at gunpoint, was what? It's going to kill me now. He was in It's a Wonderful Life, one of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes. His father was also in a Twilight Zone episode or two. But anyway, we'll get there eventually. Keenan Wynn. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Keenan Wynn. Oh my God. It was like earworming me. I was going nut. Thank you. Yes. And his father is also a win for the win. Hey, it's Indy for the win. Now, where was I? George C. Scott was also in it. King Kong versus Godzilla was my first one. I love King Kong versus Godzilla. And Teb says, guess this failed Dukes of Hazzard spinoff by its title spelled backwards. Enos. And Gambit says, sorry, Shoyer. And Chris was here. Says good evening, Bob. Chris, so good to see you, my brother. How's your dad doing? Tell him I said hi. I'm just gonna skim down because I'm way behind here, and it's mostly people saying hello to one another. So, but John Doe says, did you ever see the creepy German movie of Snow White? It's really creepy. No, I haven't seen that. Is it good? 257's heard of it though. Teb says, guess this failed 80s primetime soap starring Sam Elliott and Sybil Shepherd by title spelled backwards. Rose Yellow. Rose Yellow? Yellow Rose. Yellow Rose or Rose Yellow? And I think I'm more or less caught up. And Emily says, is it die the German refer? The yes. D is. And Gary says, John Doe, it's supposed to bring back Kong, but they were up in the air, so they did escape instead. Oh, yeah, the Robot Kong movie. Yes, they did. And 257 says, what about the sword in the Stone movie, Emily? It's the best Disney movie. It's very good. I don't know if it's the best. It's very good. And Gambit says, it is Emily, just looks weird when you see it. And Teb says martial arts. Martial arts movies are excellent. I have some martial arts movies that I very much like. John Doe says I saw Godzilla X Kong ending on YouTube, and yeah, it was trash. But I am looking forward to seeing Godzilla minus zero. Say by zero. And Emily says haven't seen that in years. Only. And Tracy says message retracted. And a message retracted to you as well, by the way. Emily says, I'll give you that Gambit. And 57 says, I loved it. Saw that movie on bootleg website yesterday. A lot of fun to watch. Oh, excellent. And Lynn says, John, it's a good movie. You will like it. Cool. And Tracy says, yes, John Hughes was from a town called Willamette, Illinois, two, I'm guessing, towns over from Chicago. And Gambit says, I may pop on the Dave stream, but it's a little depressing talking about everyone who was dead again. Ooh, yeah. Is he on again tomorrow, though? I fell asleep. I had a wicked headache when I got home from work last Monday, laid down, woke up, and I'm like, no, I missed another Dave show. I'm so depressed. And Indy says, the fix is in. Well, one thing leads to another. And I did get what you were getting there. Thank you, Indy. You and I would make a great playoff. And Tracy says, towns, not towns. Yeah, I extrapolated, but thank you, Bubba. And Gary says, I've been wanting to see the Black Cauldron again. Wasn't that the first film by oh I'm having one of those nights again where I can't remember anything. The guy who did Beetlejuice. Wasn't that his first film? I think it was Beetlejuice guy's first film. Yes, Beetlejuice. And Emily says, I'll probably forget about Dave's live tomorrow night. Well, I remembered. I just fell asleep. And Gibbon says, yeah, Emily, I have a few times Mondays. It's a busy night. Tim Burton, Indy, love you. Thank you, Tim Burton. Tim Burton. Oh, and by the way, speaking of Peter Sellers and the Twilight Zone, has anyone here seen and Sterling Hayden? While we're on the subject, has anyone here seen the little shown and seldom seen and least anecdotally banned Twilight Zone Christmas special from 1964? It's a 90-minute movie, made for TV movie. I saw it, and I hate myself for saying this. I didn't think it was particularly good. It had some great stuff in it. It's a takeoff on A Christmas Carol, and Steve Lawrence and Robert Shaw and who's the third one who plays the Pat Hingle play the ghosts, and they all do a very nice job in one way or another. And Peter Sellers plays the leader of a post-apocalyptic death cult in one of the segments. But I thought the movie kind of was a little overbearing. I thought Sterling Hayden, who plays the um, Scrooge character, was a one-trick pony throughout. If anyone's seen it, let me know what you think. I never saw it. I'd only heard about it. It always said one day I'm going to see it. 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 I found it on YouTube, and I guess when you build something up for 40 years and finally get to see it, there's no chance it's ever going to live up to your expectations. Remember, that's me. Gimmon says, I thought Pee Wee was his first film. No, he worked on the Black Cauldron. It wasn't really his project, but he did work on it when he was briefly working for Disney. Hated the experience, like most people who work for Disney do. Emily says, I have no busy nights. I also have no memory. Who does? At least I can't remember if I do or not. John Doe says, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, was the height of the Monsterverse. It's been going downhill from there. So, no, I will not like King Kong, a Godzilla X Kong. Tugs here, he goes, I made it. Yes, and just in time for the trivia. Everyone's swarming into Eric. Again, Eric, thank you so much for giving me a hall pass today. Like I said, the only movie I saw this year was Weapons. And I thought every time you came back to me, well, I can talk about Weapons again. It would get cute at first, but I think it would go downhill from there. But anyway, thank you. What's the topic for next week? I'm definitely going to be there. And John Doe says message retracted, and message retracted to you too. Emily says, sounds interesting, Bob. Gary Carpenter says, Art Carney plays Santa Claus on the Twilight Zone. Oh, in the episode, in the regular episode, Chris's episode, this was a 90-minute made for TV movie. And it wasn't bad. It was kind of. Anyone else notice this? The half-hour Twilight Zones are amazing. The hour-long ones are good, but you feel like they're dragging. It was almost like there was a little too much. 90 minutes for Twilight Zone is way too much. And Tuggs has never seen it, but now I know it's on YouTube. I'll probably watch it and get back to you. Excellent. Indy says, I've seen it. It was directed by two-time Oscar director Joe Mankiewicz, I believe. Yes, and he also collaborated on the teleplay. So, yeah. And Gambit says Pat Hingle, before he played Eastwood's supporting actor, 68? 68 times? I didn't realize he was. Wow. Wow. Although Pat Hingle also did do a Twilight Zone, at least one, maybe two. Of course, I best remember Pat Hingle from the MASH episode where he played the Inspector General. Tug says, I'm excited about Space Godzilla. Emily says, it was a good episode. Gary, yes, it was. A lot of people saying hello to Tug. I don't have a topic yet, but I'm open to suggestions. Twilight Zone. Emily says, Eric, my suggestion would be my suggestions would get you banned. Oh, I love it. Cindy's here. Hello, sorry I'm late. You're just in time for trivia, Cindy. Thank you so much for making it. Tug says, well, I never, Emily. I run a family show. And Gary says, I found it on YouTube, Space Godzilla. And he says they felt like they were dragging because they were a valuable lesson the Outer Limits should have learned. Yes and no. The Outer Limits, they were making mini movies. They weren't making TV shows. They were making mini movies. Some of them certainly did drag. But uh and it's, what, some of the Twilight Zone hour-long episodes are solid. Some of them feel like they're dragging. He Lives is great though. And that was one of the hour-long ones. Um and Gambit says, I was just joking, Thrash, but he was in a lot of his movies. Oh, okay. I was at 68. That just sounded impossible. Good thing it was. I wasn't sure we were talking about the year 68, but either way, I'm sure he wasn't in a lot. Thank you for the jest. This is our jest. And Emily says, my suggestions make families. Emily, please. And John Doe says Bradbury was a writer on the original Twilight Zone, but got into too many fights with Rod Serling and left. Oh, and Cindy says hello to Gary. Yes, he only submitted one teleplay. It was I Sing the Body Electric. He intended to write many, many more, but yes, he and Rod Serling had a falling out. Whose fault it was depends on whose side you listen to. I frankly think it was really more of a misunderstanding than anything else. But then again, oh, Indy 217 says agreed pawns, and Chris says, good evening, Cindy. I was just thinking about you. Again, Bradbury did go on to have his own show, so there you go. And Cindy says hello to Christopher. And 257 says the best episode is To Serve Man. Best twist ending. But okay, we're gonna talk favorite Twilight Zone episode. I'm going to say The Old Man in the Cave. And Indy says, my English professor in college complained about the short stories the way we do about TikTok. Again, it says 500 yards over the rim was a good Twilight Zone episode. And supposedly that was based on an urban legend. Supposedly that there's an old story that fits that to a T about, anyway, someday when I have more time, I'll talk about it. But if you guys have an interest, say, yeah, give the backstory to 500 yards past the rim. And Gary says only Ted Cassidy and Richard Keel were on that episode. Yes! It's one of the few times they actually worked together. That and I think the Hulk. And a lot of people saying hello to Cindy and back. And Emily says, Indy, some of us only have attention span for TikTok, especially since Vines is no longer a thing. And Tug says, Indy, I'm guessing your English professor was failed novelist who heard from too many people that they should try writing short stories. And Johnny Orchard is here. Oh my God, Johnny, how you doing? Johnny Orchard, so good to see you. Tony of the Dead is here. Oh my God, Tony of the Dead, welcome to the party. So good you guys could make it. A lot of people saying hello. Johnny Orchard said the incident at Owl Creek Bridge. Do you know that was actually a French um, production? That's why there's like no dialogue. It was actually a French production, and Sterling edited it slightly and put it on American television. Gambit says 12 strangers in search of an exit with William Wyndham. 4 strangers in search of an exit. With 12, they would have had a much easier time building the ladder to get out of. What? No spoilers here. And John Doe says, why do they call packages on a ship cargo and shipments in a car shipments? Good question. And Tony says, hello, everyone, and hello to you too. Tony of the Dead, so good to see you. And Tug says, John, that would be my choice, but it's really a Twilight Zone. But it's not really a Twilight Zone episode, as discussed here. Indy says, the only Vines I care about are opening song from George of the Jungle. George of the Jungle. Or in Dr. Shrek's House of Horror. Google it. And Gary says, Indy, I used to watch them all the time. Cindy says newspapers were like TikTok, short news while eating breakfast. John says, agreed, Tug. Yes, but Rod's showed on his show. I actually saw that in my high school English class. Wow. Cool English class. Emily says, I loved Vine. The videos were short. The way I like them. That's why I can't watch replays on YouTube. And he goes on to say hello to everyone, Johnny. And Johnny, hello to you too. And Tug says, I first saw it as a bonus opening segment of The Twilight Zone, the movie VHS. I saw it, I want to say, probably like 84. I want to say they did a 20th anniversary. And that's when they brought out all the hour-long episodes. And I think I saw Owl Creek Bridge then. It may have been later when I was in college, but it was somewhere around mid-late 80s. But anyway, before I get too far behind, trivia. And tonight's trivia, it was a request by a friend of the channel, John Doe, who's with us tonight. And he asked that I do it on famous character actor Tom Poston. And at first I'm like, great actor Tom Poston, but he's a character actor. Do we really know him well enough to do trivia on him? I'm like, well, the man works steadily for 50 years. So we probably know him better than we realize we do. And I thought that might be a shtick. Instead of doing retrospects on people we all know, do the second tier actors who were always acting, were always busy, were always doing stuff. We've seen them in everything, maybe just not know where we saw them from. And I'm going to call this working title Character Studies. So tonight's first character study is going to be a top 10 question and answer trivia package on American Treasure Tom Poston. Are you ready, clocks? And as always, I'm going to start in no particular order. Number 10. Mr. Poston was actually married to this one-time co-star. Was it A, Susan Pleshette, B, Marissa Wallace, C, Mary Fran, or D, Jennifer Holmes? I shall repeat. Mr. Poston was actually married to this one-time co-star. Was it A, Susan Pleshette, B, Marissa Wallace, C, Mary Fran, or D, Jennifer Holmes? And apparently this one I knew a lot of people would know this one, but I'm not going to bother. Yes, A. He was married to Susan Plachette, who was from the first Bob Newhart show, which Tom Poston actually appeared on, and was in the brilliant series finale of the Bob Newhart show, or Newhart specifically. Number 9. Speaking of marriages, Mr. Poston was wed this many times. Was it A1, B2, C3, PO, or D4? You sank my battleship. I love that shtick. I shall repeat. Speaking of marriages, Mr. Poston was wed this many times. Was it A1, sauce, B2, or not to be? This is really getting kitschy. 3, C3, PO, of course, and D4, you sank my battleship. Not as many as Gil O'Grady. I'll take your word for it. Um, well, no, 9 is the question. 4 is the answer. Yeah, D, he was married 4 times. Number 8, Mr. Poston had a supporting role in this satire film mocking middle American culture. Was it A, Vanishing America, B, Smile, C, Cold Turkey, or D, Wild in the Streets? And Tug, but 5 wasn't one of the choices. So, so of the choices provided, the closest without going over would be for, and I'll repeat the question. Mr. Poston had a supporting role in this satiric film mocking middle American culture. Was it A, Vanishing America, B, Smile, C, Cold Turkey, or D, Wild in the Streets? Oh, Sister Sarah's here. Sister Sarah, I'm sorry I couldn't make it to the show on Thursday. Had a bunch of stuff going on the day. Thank you so much for inviting me. Try to make it to the next one. I've been saying that a lot lately. I'm doing the lemming thing. Yes, so good to see you, Sarah. I'm gonna give that one more sequend. I think at this point most people have answered and just saying hi to Sarah. So yes, they are. C, Cold Turkey, which also had a supporting role from Bob Newhart. Question 7. Mr. Poston had a supporting role in this 80s cult teen sex comedy. Was it A, Hollywood Nights, B, Porky's, C, Up the Academy, or D, Rented Lips? I couldn't remember my handwriting for a while. I do that a lot, actually. I shall repeat. Mr. Poston had a supporting role in this 80s cult teen sex comedy. Was it A, Hollywood Nights, B, Porky's, C, Up the Academy, or D, Rented Lips? Storms are brewing in your eyes. Love it. And he says to Tug, apparently lemmings don't jump off cliff, Clavin. Emily says B, I have no clue. I'm not surprised. There's actually a story behind this one. Although, guess what? I own a copy of the film. Gambit says those all sound like Van Halen lyrics. Yeah, they're tracks off a Twisted Sister album. Yeah, they do. Oh, Snarksass is here. Snarksass, love you. Welcome to the party. So good to see you. The correct answer is C, Up the Academy. Up the Academy. Mad Magazine wanted to get into the comedy filmmaking explosion that was going on at the time and decided they wanted to do something edgy, anti establishment, poking fun at everything. And they actually came up with this sort of spoof of meatballs versus um that there was that movie that was set in a private school, I forget, but they did Up the Academy, and it was very poorly marketed and considered by most people one of the most offensive movies ever made. And even though it had an amazing cast, this movie tanked at the box office. But yes, it was Up the Academy. Even I cringed at some of the scenes. But again, great cast. Anywho, Taps. Okay, Taps was not exactly a rom com, a sex comedy. Although Tom Cruise gave me body dysmorphia. That scene where he's doing the curls, and I think he was like 16 at the time. And I think, oh God, I was like probably what, 13? And I go, huh? Because little secret, I didn't look like that when I was a kid. I didn't look like that when I was at my peak either. And I'm in much better shape at one time than I am now, but still. Yeah, Tom Cruise. Set the bar a little high. Anyway, question six, and then we'll get scores. Question six. While not cast as the show's star, Mr. Poston did play this character. And yes, of course, I'm for those of you who haven't picked up on it, I'm talking about Get Smart. He was originally supposed to be the star of Get Smart. Was it A, Ludwig von Siegfried, B, the Groovy Guru, C, the Claw, or D, Dr. Zarko? I shall repeat. While not cast as this show Get Smart's star, Mr. Poston did play this character. Was it A, Ludwig von Siegfried, B, the Groovy Ghoulie, Groovy Guru, C, the Claw, or D, Dr. Zarko? And you guys are on point today. Yes, D, Dr. Zarko, which I almost read as Dr. Zarkov. And when people are ready, I'll take some scores. Uh, let's just see. D is not a score. Oh, D is a grade. I'm kidding. I see what I did there. Oh my God! Last night I actually had that dream again, where it was finals week and I hadn't studied. Okay, let's see. Zerblex is 4 of 5. Tug is 2 for 5. John Doe is 9 for 4. Emily is 4 for 5. She thinks I'll give it to her. Johnny Orchard is 3 of 5. Cindy is 4 of 5. Gary is 4 for 5. And I think that's everyone. We'll wait one more minuet. And John says, "Don't worry about your dream. It will pass." You know, it's the number one nightmare in this country, or at least it was. And Teb is 4 for 5. And Emily says, "No, wait, I think I'm only 3 for 5. Take the 4." And he says, "Since I never studied for tests, the dream has never bothered me, in at least so far, so good." Must be nice having an eidetic memory. I have a photographic memory, just no film in the camera. And Tug says, "John, LOL, John, if it'll pass, then he shouldn't worry about the finals." No, I don't. It's a little late now. Anyway, I think I got all the scores. It is. Thanks for noticing. Oh, and Chris is 2 of 5. Moving on. Mr. Poston. Mr. Poston. Oh, wait a minute, Mr. Poston. Mr. Poston had a recurring role in this classic TV comedies later seasons. Was it A, Facts of Life, B, Mork and Mindy, C, Three's Company, or D, The Jeffersons? I shall repeat. Mr. Poston had a recurring role in this classic TV comedies later seasons. Was it A, Facts of Life, B, Mork and Mindy, C, Three's Company, or D, The Jeffersons? Mine is finding I've missed work for a couple of weeks from an old job I am studying, suddenly still working at. Oh, I still have nightmares that I'm working at Cumberland Farms again. I still have nightmares that I'm working at Cumberland Farms. And I'm trying to close the door because it's like 11:30, and every time I go to, someone has to come in and get one more thing. I still have that dream. And the correct answer is B. Mork and Mindy. He plays a nosy neighbor who actually becomes a friend. And number four. Before his role in the timeless classic The Girl Watching Everything, he starred in this sci-fi comedy. Was it A, The Absent-Minded Professor, B, LA 2017, C, The Magical Magnet of Santa Mesa, or D, Zotz? I shall repeat. Before his role in the timeless classic The Girl Watching Everything, he starred in this sci-fi comedy. Was it A, The Absent-Minded Professor, B, LA 2017, C, The Magical Magnet of Santa Mesa, or D, Zotz? Wait, was he the Absent-Minded Professor? No. She said Egg is the only one she's heard of. Fred McMurray. Sorry. Actually, the reason this is the whole reason it came up. John Doe was trying to think of a movie called Zotz, and he couldn't think of it. And I was actually looking for it to try to find out what the movie. And he actually found it before I did. But it's about a guy who gets an amulet and can control time and other things. But Zotz is the answer. I had never heard of it, but that one's for John Doe specifically. Got your back, bro. Which of these game shows did Mr. Poston not make an appearance on? Was it A, What's My Line? B, The Hollywood Squares? C, Celebrity Jeopardy? Or D, Match Game? Oh, and Zotz was directed by William Castle. I'm surprised I haven't seen it. Love William Castle. I shall repeat. Which of these game shows did Mr. Poston not make an appearance on? Was it A, What's My Line? B, The Hollywood Squares? C, Celebrity Jeopardy? Or D, Match Game? This was a fun one because I never realized just how many game shows he had actually been on. He had been on like a dozen over the years. He was like a professional game show appearer. But the correct answer is, in fact, C. He was never on Celebrity Jeopardy or any version of Jeopardy. Base in Jeopardy. Base in Jeopardy. Number two, Mr. Poston began his career on the Steve Allen Show as this recurring comedic character. Was it A, the man on the street, B, a news reporter, C, an Air Force general, or D, a reform school principal? I shall repeat. Mr. Poston began his career on the Steve Allen Show as this recurring comedic character. Was it A, the man on the street, B, a news reporter, C, an Air Force general, or D, a reform school principal? Who there was someone who did the news reporter bit. Was it Bob Newhart or Pat Paulson? But it was actually the man on the street, which Don Knotts also did the man on the street, and also Mickey Rooney was sometimes the man on the street. But now number one, oh, A. A is the correct answer. I have my hands in my pockets. Dan, you crack me up. Dan says, I'm listening. It's just freezing here, and I have my hands in my pockets. And Let's just see. Oh, and number one, did commercials for this classic fast food franchise in the 80s? Was it A, BK's Whopper, B, Mickey D's Big Mac, C, Arby's Big Beef and Cheddar, or D, Pizza Hut Pan Pizza? I shall repeat. Did commercials for this classic fast food franchise in the 80s? Was it A, BK's The Whopper, B, Mickey D's Big Mac, C, Arby's Big Beef and Cheddar, or D, Pizza Hut's Pan Pizza? Oh, Bob Newhart was the reporter. Thank you. I thought so. And Jay says, I'm outside smoking in 36 degrees. Don't smoke in the house. Yeah, I know. I do the same thing you do. But man, it's cold up here. It's in the teens. And it snowed this morning too. I hate that. And Emily says, I don't either, Danny, even though your wife does. Oh, Emily, do you smoke tobacco? Or are you referring to, well, either way, you say you don't smoke in the house. I don't smoke in the house either, even though I bought it. And Tug says John Houseman did some great Mickey D's commercials in the yes, yes, he did. Yes, oh my god, he did. Who was I talking to about Ghost Story? And how I absolutely loved Ghost Story when I was a kid. And it's just such an amazing movie. Anyone? Anyone? I don't know, but yes, he did make great commercials in the 80s. Regular tobacco. So you do smoke regular tobacco. Me too. But again, none of my bees cheese. Anywho. Okay, so Indy says no pressure, M, but don't screw this up. Hey M, do you smoke? I don't know. I never looked. Yeah, I was a 14-year-old boy too. And then he said, when I say outside smoking, I refer to a variety of things. LOL. Yeah, of course. There's your cigarettes, your cigars, your. I'm just joshing. And Gary says Danny would smoke anything. And I think we've all answered the question. The correct answer, of course, is A. He did commercials for. Wait, no. B. The Big Mac, McDonald's. So I'll take scores whenever you guys are ready. Christopher was 4-10. John Doe says, what movie was better, Creep Show or Tales from the Dark Side? Creep Show. Number one, Creep Show, the first one. Second one's not bad, but if you want to talk the best of the two you mentioned, that would have to be Creep Show. Tracy is 1 out of 10. Tug is 5 out of 10. Dublex is 6 out of 10. Cindy is 8 for 10. Teb is 7 for 10. Gary is 7 for 10. And Danny says, I have smoked most things at one point or another over the last 60 years. Emily is 6 out of 10. John is 3 out of 10 because they don't make pennies anymore, and I'm rounding up to 10. And he says, did you say the fast food ads were not for Pizza Hut? No, McDonald's. Did he do an ad for Pizza Hut? If he did an ad for Pizza Hut too, I apologize. Give yourself the point. I don't recall that one. But when I looked up his commercials today on YouTube, it was for the Big Mac. Tug says, I've smoked salmon. And Emily says, Danny, if I had a leaf, I've smoked it. And yes. And oh, hold on, I'm parched. Oh, damn it. I lost the cap. Oh, there it is. And if I don't get it, I'll step on it and get mad and start yelling. It makes a very satisfying crush sound. Oh, also, always crush the empty bottles. They take up less landfill that way. Although you're supposed to recycle them anyway, so forget everything I just said. I've said too much. And Dennis, I used to smoke all three meats. I'm not there. I used to smoke all their meats. And what about Creepshow 3? I never saw Creepshow 3. And he says, I promise you, Tom Poston did a series of ads for Pizza Hut for a couple of years back in the 80s. Give yourself a point. And anyone who said D, then give yourself a point as well. And Cindy says, no curse on Thrash. LOL. Very sorry. Very sorry. I meant to say, gosh darn it. And Doug says, no cap. UNC. And Danny says, remember, it takes all kind of critters to make farmer fits and fritters. Christopher says, good night, Bob. Chris, you take care of yourself. We're probably going to be wrapping things up here as well, by the way. So, any last minute comments? Anyone else want to throw another like movie question out there? Anyone want to talk anything? Any thoughts about Twilight Zone? Because that seems to be our side topic tonight. Now's the time to do it. Zublik says, good night to Chris. Gary says, I just had smoked turkey. A lot of people saying goodnight to Chris. John Doe says, the guy sold the rights to someone for $1 for some reason. No kidding. Texas Dag Nabbit is my favorite. Gary says, I recycle cans. And Indy says, holy crap, did Denny just Motel Hell reference everybody? I knew that where it was from. I knew that where it was from. Oh my god. I saw that movie not too long ago. Well, oh, it was a few years ago now that I think about it, but recently. But there you have it. Teb says, would you please consider doing trivia on another legendary character actor, Burt Mustin? Oh my god, where's a pen? Burt Mustin. Do me a favor, because I'm going to forget. I promise you I'll forget, and I don't want to forget. Teb, do me a favor. Go on Facebook and message me, Burt Mustin, because yes, I will do Burt Mustin. I absolutely love that man. He reminded me of my grandfather in more ways than I care to remember. So yes, I will do Burt Mustin, and we'll do it as a character study. And John just said I was talking about Creepshow 3. The guy sold it for $1. Yeah, I figured as much, but I did not know that. And Doug says, I used to have a can crusher in my house, but I've since kicked the soda addiction. With your diabetes, probably a good thing too. Gary says, good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. Or, good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. And Cindy says, never heard of him. Would fail that one. Oh, no, you've heard of him. He was the quintessential old man. And I'm not going to give you any things where you might have seen him because that's going to be on the trivia question next week. But I bet you'll do more than you think. And Emily says, who the hell is Burt Mustin? You've seen him in stuff. I promise you. You have seen him in stuff. Zubli says, will you see the latest Avatar movie? I have to see the one in the middle first. The Shape of Water or the Sound of Water or whatever water is. And he says, thanks for the trivia. Indy, no, thank you. Thank you very much, man. You're my official fact checker. And Tug says, I like the character study theme. Keep it up. You like that character study? You like that? Thank you. I thought it was cute. And Teb says, I'm not on Facebook anymore. Oh, bummer. No wonder I haven't heard from you in years. Okay, someone on Facebook, Emily, Tug, somebody, Danny, anybody, Zoomerplex, message me and just say Burt Mustin. Just put it in Facebook, message me Burt Mustin so I don't forget. Thank you. Danny says, I just star through Cruise of the Mummy's Tomb, Hammer 60s. Tell this was the inspiration for Tom Cruise piece of crap. Never saw the Tom Cruise piece of crap. Oh, and Mrs. Thrash is here. Says hello, everyone. Hi, Mrs. Thrash. Oh, Mrs. Thrash, Burt Mustin. Remember Burt Mustin, okay? Excellent, thank you. Yeah, she's got it. She'll remember. She doesn't know who it is either, but she'll remember. Night, Mrs. Thrash. I'll be in a minute. Oh, she's singing Bob Seger again. Not the good song. We've covered that too, by the way. So where to leave off? I've been busy. Oh, here it is. Gary says, he was yes, he was an old man. He was in a ton of TV shows. I just don't want to give any of them away. John Doe says, who in the blue blaze is he? Again, Joe, I guarantee you guys have seen him and stuff. So just bear with us. And Emily says, "Well, that's helpful. Thanks, Bub." Yes, like I said, I can't tell you what he's been in because that will throw the questions off next week. But I guarantee you, uh, Dave has talked about it. Dave's talked about it in his channel. So yeah, I'm sure. Azubli says he always plays old guys on television '60s show, particularly. Yes, he was. That's one of the ones. I don't want to give away too much, but he was in the '50s and '60s, and he always played the old man. And Gary says John Doe. He was the character actor who was a lot of old shows. Yes. And John Doe says, "You're welcome, folks." Yes, because the character study was basically your idea. Thank you. Shape of Water. Good, thank you. And everyone's saying hello to Mrs. Thrash again. And Cindy says, then Dave would know him well, Superplex. Yes, he would. And Diddy says, good night, all. And Tug says, Way of Water. Yes, the Way of Water. Weight of Water, Shape of Water, Sound of Water. And Superplex says, definitely Cindy D. And Mrs. Thrash is back. Hello again. She keeps walking in and out of the room. I don't know. It's her OCD again, I think.
You didn't turn the shower head to bath.
Oh dear.
I was going 2 weeks ago.
You know that thing. I don't know if you guys have faucets like this, but you have to switch the shower from tub spigot to shower head, and if you forget, someone goes to like turn on a bath and gets ice cold water on the back of their head. Yeah. Oops. I've been really good about that. I haven't done that in months. Apparently, it's still too often. So, but yeah, that's a pet peeve of hers. Fortunately, she was taking a shower tonight anyway. The last time it happened, she was just going to take a bath and wasn't going to get her hair wet. That wasn't nearly as funny, but
Emily will take care of you for me.
but anyway, so that is as they say that. There's something else that I'm always doing that pisses her off. Well, everything, everything really. You've had 30 years to catch up on the fact that I'm a waste. That's telling her, huh?
Waste, just hard to train.
Something about Calabash. Oh, that Jimmy Durante. That was one of his sign offs. He would always say, "Good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are." Cha cha cha. But we didn't know who Mrs. Calabash was, so the implication was it was some personal thing and none of our damn business. Oh, wait. Well, I still get a few of you here. Emily says breathing. Yes, breathing. Um, remember I was telling you, Mrs. Thrash got me this. See this? This is basically a magnifying screen. What you do is you take your cell phone and you put it in the back, and it's like watching. If you're watching movies on your cell phone, it's like watching on a little TV. So it turns your cell phone into a portable TV. This is cool squared. And the second coolest toy Mrs. Thrash got me for the holidays was see this phone. This phone is actually a Blu-ray. And what you do is you can set your phone to it. So if you're an old fuddy duddy like me, like old style phones, you can actually talk to people on a phone instead of what the millennials call a phone. And you can even dial with it too. It hooks the whole thing up. So this turns your phone into a phone. Isn't that cool? So those are my two coolest gifts. And I just wanted to make sure I showed them to you before I signed off. Emily, what breathing? You meant I keep trying to go back to the breathing. Is my sinus thing kicking in? Either way, I'm sorry. Oh, I think she went outside. Speaking of which, she went out to have a cigarette. Oh, thank you, Johnny. Yes, it is pretty cute. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, thank you. And Tug says, I recently had to explain a rotary phone to my son. It's touchtone. It's one of the things where they're in a circle like the rotary, but you touch them in order to get them to t. But yeah, kids just don't understand a rotary phone. You mean Bluetooth, not Blu-ray? Did I say Blu-ray? Yes, I definitely meant Bluetooth, Emily. I'm sorry. Thank you for helping me out here. I'm really a caveman when it comes to modern technology. Yes, thank you, Cindy. It is a really, really cool gift. And technically it is wireless. Technically it is wireless. And John says, "I think I'll get them." It's good, good, good find, good find. And Gary says, "I'll have to find one." And there were Marshalls, I believe. If there's a Marshalls in your area, you can find them at Marshalls or TJX. And Cindy says, "My daughter didn't know what a fax machine is." And Tracy says, "Now you have a phone that you can slam on someone after a mean conversation." I do. Oh my god, I do. I do. Yay. And Emily says, "Well, now I want one." So yeah, I think Mrs. Thrash has started a trend. And not just marrying weirdos. She started that trend 30 years ago. Anyway, guys, I've had so much fun tonight. As always, you guys are awesome. I want to thank you for being here. I will get new content out. I just the holidays just for some reason had my schedules in an uproar, but I will get new content out. I do promise you. Also, I am going to have a show next Sunday. I don't know if Sister Sarah's still here. I will try to make it onto her next show. And Tug, whatever whatever you're doing next Sunday, count on Thrash in. But anyway, until then, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. Again, I couldn't get through the week without these shows. I really couldn't. But anyway, I want to thank you guys all for being here. And until next time, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to taking you to think I'll come in again. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again all very, 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 very soon. Peace.